Yeah.
All righty. There we go. Isn't that a cool voice? But David, do you remember when Zoom came out first? There was nobody to tell you that you were recording, right? But now Zoom tells us that we're recording.
Yes, it does.
So in Ireland, we've a tendency to curse, so it's great when we get that warning now that we can stop cursing before we go live.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See with people in Ireland, but now I know.
Yeah, we have a famous word, David, here that's called, and it's a really bad word in America, right? But it's called feck, right? But it can mean a number of different things, right? So it can be a compliment. So you fecker means, you're a great person, but feck you means, I'm not happy, So it has a whole load of different connotations depending on tone and everything else.
Wow, that's amazing. We need to adapt that here in America too. I don't know how that would go down, but
yeah. So when I'm in America and I'm speaking in America, I always use that on stage, and it always wakes up people very, very quickly. Is he cursing? Did he really curse? Did he really do that?
I love that.
So David, thank you so much for joining us. I've been watching your business from a distance, right? I don't think we've ever met in person, right? But I've been watching your business from a distance and what you've done with it. And it's just amazing. I know you're going to be inspiring to all of our viewers who see this on the replay or within the group or live. But guys, now that you're live here, right? Some of you may not know David, but it's what I'd say to you is, don't waste this opportunity to ask him the difficult questions, right? Because David is a marketing
Don't make it too difficult. Don't make it too difficult.
He's a marketing genius. David is a marketing genius, and we'll talk about that. But we are going to talk about mindset first, David. But before we do that, right, could we just deep dive into how you started in this great industry of ours? Like, what was the trigger for you to say, I'm going to do this?
I'm going to do this in the sense of just photography, or really diving into like the business part of it?
I think the photography piece, where you got your love for photography first, right? And then we can talk about the mindset later. And, it's quite clear from you that, you've not only got a vision, but you've got a mission, and your purpose and your why. And we'll deep dive into that. But just so that people
can get Ronan, you're giving me too much credit here.
No. You can see
purpose.
So, because David, I qualified a couple of years ago as a story brand guide, right? And it's rare I see a website in any industry, let alone from a photographer, where it's just done 110%. Like, it's absolutely, when I saw your website, I went, this guy's a marketing genius. Like, apart from your 3.5 million followers on TikTok and your 750,000 followers on Instagram, this guy's a genius.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, so for me, photography, if we're going back to just the passion for photography, for me, it started, it actually led from another passion of mine, which was dance. This was back in like 8th grade for me. I was dancing, everything inspired from just YouTube. At that time, like, the internet was really booming. YouTube was still pretty just emerging as a platform. And I was like, wow, there's all these dancers around the world. I was learning from that. And I want to video my dance. And so I gave my dad a little presentation on why we need to upgrade our family camera to have like video capabilities. And I convinced him to get like a little Sony camera. It was like one of the first mirrorless cameras at that time. And it was amazing. And soon enough, that camera became mine because I just used it everywhere. I became the kid in high school running around with camera, everything multimedia, yearbook photos, just picnics and all that stuff. And the turning point for me there, going from like this event and photographing whatever and finding my passion for portraits, was when I was photographing like my friends, not just any friends. It was like girlfriends, and especially my sister. When I photographed my sister, and to me, I took a beautiful, like, very technical photo. At that time, when you're first learning photography, you're learning all the different techniques and styles and stuff, and you're trying out new things. And to me, I was like, wow, this is an amazing photo. But then the thing is, when my sister saw it, she said, David, I look big here. And mind you, like my whole family, like it's just in our genetics, like we're just really small. And I was like, are you kidding me? You're like you're stick and bones. And to hear my sister say, I look big, I don't like this. And as a like 10th grade dude, just focusing on my camera, like I couldn't comprehend that. I was like, MJ, you're tiny. What are you talking about? And it took me a second to realize that it wasn't just about me being a master like camera person trying to get the best like exposure, whatever it is. Like it didn't matter if the person didn't like the photo. It wasn't about me crafting the best photo on my end. It wasn't about me also telling them, no, you look beautiful. Like it didn't change how they felt about their photo. And I think we tend to do that a lot to maybe people around us, maybe it's clients or friends or family. I'm sure we've all had that moment where our friends say, oh, I don't like this photo. I look this, or I look that, my arms look like that. And our natural response is tell them, no, you don't. And the thing is, like, that doesn't change anything how they feel about that photo. So for me, that was a big challenge that inspired me to find out more about how to work with people. But beyond that, a bigger concept is finding out more about the concept of beauty standards, especially for women. At that time, I grew up in Korea, so like beauty standards in Korea is very different from America, and it could be very pressuring for women in Korea too. So to understand that, and just like developing empathy, and that was just a big passion of mine, and that also at first was a big challenge for me, but now it's a big passion of mine to be able to empower other people to create photos that they love for themselves. It's a big passion for me. So that's kind of like how it all started.
And David, you talk about there about it's about the client, right? That's what I'm hearing, right? But quite often you see a lot of photographers in our industry getting caught up in that it's about their art rather than about their client, right? And did you discover that it was all about the client that early in your career before you actually set up your business?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, like at that time, I was still like trying out different. I was very, very much married to like my camera and photography, and trying out the selective color like black and white, and then making the red pop and doing those sort of weird trendy stuff at that time, thinking that is what makes a good photo. It's so funny, Ronan, you mentioned like the artist stuff. Literally yesterday I was having a sales meeting with my client, and I brought out that same topic. I said, I sometimes ask myself if I'm an artist or not because of that exact reason, right? I think because you said that you understand where I'm coming from. It's not for me to say, oh, like boohoo, I'm not asking for sympathy. Usually people are like, oh my gosh, no, David, you are an artist. I mean, like I get it to a certain point, but my thought process, like you said, is more so like if I'm truly being an artist, then I would only care about myself and how I express. But to me, what is way far important is, does the person in front of my camera love their photo? Yeah.
And it's you talk about that part of your mission is to help women discover their inner queen, right? So can we just talk about that? Because the way even everybody, right? There's different personality types and different women. Like some women are already confident,
Yeah.
and it's about celebration of their confidence. And then some women, they the work you might do for them is to give them that confidence because they don't have that confidence yet. Can you just talk about this concept of discovering their inner queen? What does that actually mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a, I feel like it could go really in depth, but at the same time, it's really simple. For me, I see portraits as a way to, it's such a beautiful way to explore oneself, like explore what we are, what we don't see, so what we also could be and what we can be, right? Um, and for me, that's why like during quarantine is such a you know, big time for me to explore, because at the time that that's been created through quarantine, I said, hey, let me do some self portraits. And if some of you aren't familiar with my work on like social media and stuff, I do a lot of like fun transformation. It's not really transformation. It's just like pretty much creating a mood board that has to do with more K-pop or of e-boys or more of a dapper look, and doing all those things and sort of rebuilding my perception of myself. You know, sometimes we're too sure of who we are or how we are perceived or how ourselves perceive ourselves. And you know, through that, I said, wow, I can look good in a totally different aesthetic. I can look good in a totally, and even before, I said, wow, I'm a very, if anything, I can be cute. I never thought I could be cool. I never thought I could be sexy, whatever that is. But to be able to explore that through portraits, because now I can see it. Like if someone told me, hey, David, you are this, and I don't see it myself, I don't think it myself, it's hard to like perceive that. But if you're able to see it, then you believe it. So, you know, going back to bring out the inner queen for my clients or whoever I photograph, I feel like there's always someone, and like we can never be so sure of ourselves. And there's too many ways others see us. Whoops. Sorry. There's just too many ways others see us, and I want to bring that out and just explore. Yeah. Sorry, that was getting a call there.
That's all right. That's okay. Could be a client. So David, talk to us about because you're extremely successful, right, in everything you've done, and business is normally a journey, right, that we go on. But talk to me about, you know, the mindset that you discovered you required for success. Like, did you always believe in yourself and know that you could create what you've created, or, you know, was it a journey, or was there an aha moment? Or just talk to us about that, you know, what that mindset you need to have, you know, to be successful. And how did you get that? Were you always with that mindset for success and I can do this? Or have you ever doubted yourself, and how did you overcome that? I know that's a long question, but you know where I'm going.
No. And I think I've always been a very driven guy when it comes to what I like. And I like I mentioned before, I grew up in Korea where, you know, academics is the only thing that is important, right? Like really, like it's on a very high pedestal, and it's always about being number one. You go to the best school, best college, and then you want to become the CEO of Samsung. Pretty much, that's like the world in Korea. Like, but for me, it was always chasing after my passion. And whatever my passion was, I put so much, like 200% into it. Like I said, I went from dance to video to photography, and then into my business. You know, I think at a certain point, for a very long time, there wasn't, like, fear didn't really affect me because my passion just carried me through so far. And you know, sometimes if I see my peers, I'm 27, so I see some of my peers trying to tackle a new passion now. But you know, with this whole like hustle culture and like, oh my gosh, become your own boss kind of thing, you know, they're starting a new passion, but then they're asking themselves, oh my gosh, can I quit? Can this help me quit my 9 to 5 when they're just picking up the camera for the first time? I'm like, your foundation is so weak if that's what you're building your passion on. Is your passion even there? Right? If you're trying to like, if your first thought is to just create money, and for me, because my passion fueled everything, like things that were scary, that should have been very scary, like I didn't really think of it as much, right? I just said, hey, like I want for more, just far overpaid, like whatever the scariest situation was. I think something that's a little bit more practical, that helped me through all of just like the beginning parts of the journey, was realizing simple math can help you figure out, it's actually not too tough to make it every month. Right? And you want to figure out a number for yourself. You really just add up all the things that you need to survive every month, right? Rent, food, transportation. What are the necessities in your life for that month? And at least for me, like in California, for what was it, like 2, 3, 4,000, it was something like that. And I said, okay, now I'm putting it into perspective. $2, $3, $4,000. What at that time I had my products and my pricing down. I said, all right, if I'm making, let's say, like $1,000 per client, oh my gosh, that's just 4 clients a month. I said 4 clients a month. And I was sitting here being all anxious because before all the numbers, before knowing in my brain that was just 4 clients, I can survive. I can still maintain being my own boss. Before then, it was too big of a concept. So all these negative thoughts and things would fill my head. I would get more anxious and things won't get done because I'm getting panic attacks. But when I broke it down and said, okay, David, 4 clients, what do I need to do? That means 1 client a week. And if I just take 1 day out of the week to shoot the client, all the other days can be used to finding the clients, right? So all like that really helped me ground myself and put things into perspective and said, wow, I'm just gonna go after this. And every month, like there's no other way for me but to just keep going this way. I came too far. I'm just gonna keep pushing. And yeah, I guess that's what really fueled the beginning of my journey.
So, what I've heard, David, is that it has to be where money can't be your driver, right? You do have to recognize in numbers, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? That we need food first, then shelter, right? And then we look for relationships, and then we build on that. But so once you figure that out and you understand that number, it gives you a focus to satisfy those first 2 layers of Maslow's hierarchy, and then that allows you then build on top of that, and it allows you build your confidence to get to the next steps. So that's really good advice, because a lot of photographers I talk to, they don't do that numbers piece. They don't actually own their numbers or even understand their numbers.
Yeah. And I think
And
that's yeah, sorry, go on.
And I could see on your website, like you were quite clear, you want to make a difference to 100 people's lives a year, primarily women, right? That you're photographing. Is that correct? It's primarily women. Yeah.
I mean, it's I say that because I guess that's something else with like marketing, right? It's I'm fortunate to be now a 2-person team, but when you're a 1-person team, I'm sure everyone like recognizes here it's tough. It's tough running a small business. You have to put on so many different hats, and when you already have to put on so many different hats, focus on really changing the lives of one group of people. Like imagine if Apple came out and they're trying to, when Apple was, Steve Jobs by himself in the garage. Imagine he was trying to build a car, a laptop, a hair dryer. Like he focused on one thing because he was a 1-person team. And I'm sure Apple now, if they wanted to create a car, they would like sell out. But when we're just a 1-person team, 2-person team, you just have to focus. You have to focus. You can't change the lives of everyone. And, even in just like a select group of, let's say, women in their 20s to 30s, someone in their 20s just graduating college is in a very different place from someone in their 30s who's had a couple of different jobs and might be married. Maybe they have a little bit more money. Maybe they have different passion in their lives. So like you have to really, in the business mindset, go into thinking about who you're working with. What are their challenges in their lives that you can help alleviate? And as you mentioned, like my website, that was another big aha moment. I actually looked at a lot of Apple website, actually. I went to apple.com because they're doing well, right? At the end of the day, if we're a small business, we're selling something. We have something that can help someone else. And too many times when we're starting out as photographers, we're thinking of it as, oh, I'm a photographer and I'm just selling photos. But to me, I sort of reverse engineered that. I said, okay, who out there in my city are having struggles? What kind of pain points do they have? How can I talk to them about that? Oh my gosh, sorry. How can I talk to them about that and show empathy? And how can I empower myself by noticing the value I can provide to these people and find fulfillment for myself while helping them as well? And also running a small business. So that's sort of like how I've engineered my website to put my clients first, versus me saying, hi, I'm a photographer, here's all my work, because you like my work, hire me, So that's sort of how I engineered that website.
So David, so much learning there, right? But I don't know if you've read the book by Nick Westergaard, Brand Now, but he talks about this idea of finding a brand that you love and building a brand positioning statement. So I'm a lover of Apple too, and Steve Jobs. So our brand positioning statement is, we are the Apple of photo presentation products, right? And that's our view. And that gives you, not only does it allow you to look at how Apple do things like you did, but it also allows you check things. And before we did that, David, like we would launch a product. We were nearly like the old Microsoft. I know Microsoft have changed, right? But decades ago, I'm a good bit older than you, so I remember this. When Microsoft launched new software, it would go out there, and I'm sure they thought it was good, but they'd nearly allow the client to be the testing of it. You know what I mean? And feed back all the bugs, and then they'd fix them. While Apple's approach was always so different. Like in Steve Jobs' time, they used to miss launch dates because he just wasn't happy it was right. And we used to be, years ago, a stage where we were more like Microsoft. We'd believe it was right and we'd launch it, and our clients would feed us back, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. But now our approach is, we don't launch anything unless we're 99.9% sure, and we even go as far now as beta testing stuff. It's just mindset, isn't it? It's just that different mindset that you've touched on there. But it's also how you can learn from a brand. If there's a brand out there, guys, that you love, do like David did and just see how they do things and how they communicate and what we can learn from them. And if you take David, Apple must have, I don't know, they probably have 1,000 people in their marketing team. So we can learn from all those 1,000 really clever people and just adapt it.
Truly. I mean, I think something great that I did was getting out of the photography industry mindset. I was too much looking into just the photography industry, trying to find inspiration from just photographers. And I said, hey, at the end of the day, I'm a small business. At the end of the day, I'm a human. At the end of the day, I can connect with other people. And I was like, wow, I need to expand beyond finding inspiration from just other photographers. And because of that, I've grown way just more than just becoming a photographer in a small business. Yeah.
So David, a lot of businesses, not just photographers, think everyone is their client, right? But it's quite clear from what you've just told us that you realized that was not the case. That if you identified who your ideal client avatar is or persona is, and everyone has different language for this, but how did you discover that? How did you like I'm a 52-year-old man, you're much younger than me, right? And
you're 52-year-old, you're my age.
So, you know, there's not like, it took me, I don't know, it took me decades to even realize that, you know. So how did you, so early in your business career, how did you discover that?
It's just like you got to use the internet, right? There's so much wealth of information out there. I mean, for me, it was going through my like wormhole of finding the people that I want to learn from. For me, you know, like I said earlier, YouTube was a big source of education for me. This was like maybe 10, maybe 13 years ago. And then through YouTube, you know, I just Googled a lot of things too. And through Googling, I found Creative Live. And through Creative Live, I found a whole bunch of different educators. I fell in love with Sue Bryce. And then with Sue Bryce, she came out with her own education stuff. And then Sue's been amazing about teaching that kind of mindset and business, but in not a yucky way. And then she really takes care and listens to the actual feelings that we have as creatives, and the struggles that we might specifically have than someone in San Francisco at a tech startup with that kind of brain mindset might have. And she really tackles that for us as sort of creatives and emotional people. And that perspective change really changes things, right? From simple things like putting it into numbers, or knowing that your value actually, a lot of it doesn't come from us being photographers. It really comes from just us coming back to being humans, understanding what kind of value we have, and who can experience that value the most, who can gain the most from from us and what we can provide. And it's about finding those people. Our value increases when we can find the right pair, right? And then that's huge game changer. You know, for that dictated what I did with my time. You know, I went from just working on my photography and trying to become the best photographer, thinking I have to become the best photographer to get clients, to now working on just my website and then tailoring that. And even the images I created, the way I interact with people, the way I interact with clients, the way I tackle social media. So yeah, that was a big change for me. But I sort of learned that from Sue, and she's really instilled that good business foundation in me.
Sue is an absolute legend. She's one of the great leaders of our industry.
So
so David, you tipped on it there about, you know, how you use social media and stuff. And I've never met anybody who's got the following on social media that you have, right? So I'm starstruck. Starstruck I am. But I know there's a question from Monica, and I think what Monica is sort of asking in an indirect way is, so you've got this following on social media. Do you, first of all, can you tell us how you built that? And then second, can you tell us how you use that for your marketing, you know, and how do you turn such a following into clients and bookings and business?
Yeah. This is always a very fun topic to talk about with people in business or like photography, because sometimes I get a lot of people in my comments saying, David, this is such amazing marketing. You're so genius. The thing is, I never think about marketing with this. Like with the things I do on TikTok, it has absolutely nothing. I don't go to my whiteboard. I don't go to my whiteboard over there and be like, oh my gosh, marketing. Okay, let's talk with my marketing department, talk with my team and strategize what we're gonna do so we can 10 times whatever engagement, 10 times. Like I don't even look at that kind of stuff. It's always hilarious because a lot of people looking in, they're like, oh my gosh, this is, you know, but for me, it's passion for me, just like I said for everything else. At a certain point, I said, I love what I do. And I always give this analogy. there's a new restaurant in town, there's a new ice cream shop in town, and you love that ice cream shop. What do? You bring your friend, you bring your partner, you bring your family. You say, "Oh my gosh, I know the best ice cream shop in town. Let me take you there." Right? You talk about it, you share it on social, you tag them. Maybe you even write them a testimonial. So for me, I love what I do, and I want to share with people what I do. It was as simple as that. It wasn't marketing. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is quarantine time. Like, I need to find clients. Let me think of some genius plan and teach people how to pose. I didn't even know teaching posing was anything useful outside of my clients. And then now to receive private DMs and emails from people all around the world that I've changed their lives because I'm some like education/entertainment 30-second video, and that I've instilled this huge amount of confidence in them just because of teaching posing is something I would have never imagined. And so it absolutely, like, it never had anything to do with marketing, right? So I guess that answers a bit of both questions. How did I grow this audience? And it was by just simply doing what I love and sharing what I love. And that also had nothing to do with watching other photographers and what they're doing on TikTok. And like Ronan said, find inspiration from brands that you like. Find inspiration from content creators that you like. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of photographers jump onto TikTok because it's the right thing to do, and they're just copying what other photographers are doing. All they're doing is they're putting some behind the scenes video footage of their photo shoot with some epic music, and then they're putting the final images at the end. That's what every photographer is doing. How does that go back to sharing about your passion? Where's the emotion? Are you sharing about a hard time that you have had with a client? Are you sharing about your business? Are you sharing about an emotional interaction you had with a client? Are you sharing a fun time, a funny story, right? Like, where is all of that, right? Find inspiration from other content creators. And then that's what I did. And I mean, even before finding inspiration, I mean, I was just doing it really as for myself, just, goofing around. I love to goof around. I love to dance. And that's what it was. One of the first viral video was me sharing a very, very common experience in the studio, which is like a lot of shy clients coming in. And then the moment, like they keep telling me, oh my gosh, I can't do this, David, I'm gonna be your toughest client. And then like the moment we start getting into it, they become such a diva. And I just wanted to share that. It's such a funny moment. It's just, I'm like, wow, I love this. It fulfills me. It's such a joy. So like I got into a dress and acted as my clients, and I acted shy. And then it was a very funny skit where like the client became all of a sudden Beyonce, right? So that is, I guess, how I grew my audience. And in terms of like how that translates into business for me is like, I don't even need to try. I never had to say I have bookings open. People find you. People want to work with you. And it's so hilarious too. Some of these emails, like when I get on call with them, these people who come from TikTok, I want to ask them, hey, what did you like about my work? Right? Is there some images that really spoke to you? And then they tell me, you know what, David, I didn't even check out your work. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't look at my work? I'm gonna be your photographer for the first time. This is your first photo shoot. You didn't like my images. And they're like, David, I don't care. I want to work with you. Right? So that's what I would say.
So what I'm hearing here, David, is that, it's important to be authentic, and real, and don't try and be someone you're not. And then you'll make that connection with people who just want to spend time with you because they know that you're going to transform them or make them different or feel more confident or empowered or whatever that is. But unless you're truly authentic about it, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, right? Or what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's about being real and authentic, and that just goes back to just connecting with your heart, right? There's that really loud sound. Is it coming through on your end as well?
A little bit, yes. I don't know.
I have something. Okay.
It's okay. It's not too bad. It's not too
You
bad.
mean?
It's not off-putting. It's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
off-putting.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's not off-putting.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So Monica, let us know if we've answered your question there. So because David, Monica's other bit of her question was, do you have to post every day or, but I think you've answered it in that. I think you've said that there was no real strategy. You were just using this as a way to communicate out to the world, and you were just being authentic and being you and being creative, and people just loved how authentic you were and the message you were giving out there, and that's how the following built, right?
Yes. I mean, even now on my TikTok, it's been a couple of days that I didn't post because it's just so busy, and it's fine. And for me, I'm a very like emotional creator too, and a very sporadic creator. There's no like strategy for me, and to a lot of people that works for them. Like they have to live by like there's the system that they created. So sometimes they create an idea list, and then like if they don't have anything special they want to work on, then they just pull from that and like, okay, today I have to make one because every day I need to make something. So they do it that way. But for me, I just like, if I have something very fun I think of in the shower, then I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to work on that. If I'm watching a TikTok and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a very fun idea, let me make a spin on that. And I never thought about like, oh my gosh, I want to create this audience. It was very much the opposite. And the thing is, if you think of it as, oh, I want to grow an audience, I want to do this as marketing, then you think of it as a chore. When you think of it as a chore, then it becomes another task on top of the many other tasks that you need to do, which probably would be a lot more fruitful to finish than trying to just do this one TikTok that actually isn't going to bring you much. If you're thinking of it as like a business investment, it's not going to bring you much on that day or the next day. And you're going to get frustrated with yourself saying, oh my gosh, I posted 10 videos. Why is nothing happening? Right. But instead, if you think of it as, again, just sharing like what you want to do and you're just creating for yourself, one of those videos might go viral. TikTok is the only platform right now. Well, there's Instagram Reels and YouTube, all that stuff. Now that they're trying to pivot and things like that, but a year ago, TikTok was the only place that you could go viral. For Instagram, you have to have a following, and if you don't have the following, then you have to get mentioned by someone else and just very slowly start gaining that. TikTok is the only place you can put out and have a bunch of people see your stuff. And I always tell like other small business owners, one video you post might change your life 100%. But you're thinking about strategy, you're thinking about posting every day, you're thinking about what other people in your industry are doing. It could literally be a video of you dancing after your photo shoot and you having fun with that, and you're trying to do all these crazy stuff, right? And I mean, that's the advice I would have. Yeah.
Be true to yourself and keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So David, you talk about giving value to, right? So you talked about, have you photographers then who are following you and looking at your sessions? Are they the people who are saying they feel empowered, or is it the consumer who's saying they feel empowered, or both?
This is majority just people all around the world. I don't even know. It's just non-photographers, I guess. Right. Yes, of course, there are a lot of photographers that see my work. I think if I meet photographer, they've probably come across my work on TikTok in some way or some shape, right? But this is like 3.5 million people we're talking about. That's still so crazy to say. I can't comprehend the number myself. I run into my followers all the time on the streets now, and they come from all different walks of lives, right? And it's a really simple, you know, it's a really simple thing that connects me and all my followers and people that enjoy my content, is that, hey, we just want to be beautiful, seen as beautiful, and then feel beautiful for who we are. as a unique individuals that we are. And it's that simple. And I realized that doesn't have to do with photography. That doesn't just have to do with posing. That can do with clothing. That can be with mindset. That can be with passion. And that's the simple thing that I realized that connects me to the people that enjoy my content. And like I said earlier, that's where I realized my value isn't tied to just photography. My value is into just so much more.
So David, this is your pug, is it? What's the
Yeah,
name?
this is my daughter Maya. She's 3 years old.
Maya. Hello,
She's in
Maya.
her Christmas she's in her Christmas sweater already. We're getting ready for Christmas.
Very good. So does she star? Does she star in the TikToks as well, or?
She stars in my Instagram a little bit more because my Instagram is a little bit more day
Okay.
to day.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely on my TikTok, and whenever she's on there, people love it. They always
She's
ask for
lovely.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's lovely.
So
Very good. Very good. So David, what's next? What's next for you?
what's next? Yeah, my goodness. Um, a lot of things, a lot of things. So I was in Sacramento, which is about 6 hours from Los Angeles, and I'm coming up on my second month in LA. I just moved, and the reason I moved wasn't for business. It made no sense for me to move for business because all my clients were flying into me at that point. I'm in a very blessed position where like maybe 4 out of 10 clients were from local, and then 6 out of 10 were from out of state, which is bonkers to think about. So it didn't make sense for me to 2, 3, 4 times my rent to move to like somewhere like Los Angeles, a bigger city. But I moved to really explore my career as a content creator. The content creator world is so vast and so early on. There's so many possibilities, and if you have the audience, you create something that they want, right? So something that I just wrapped up from Monday to Wednesday, I was working on a new course. It's something really fun. It's called How to Be Photogenic in 30 Days. All right, how to be photogenic in 30 days. And we just filmed that over 3 days with a whole film crew of like 12 people. And see that's the thing that I love doing. I can take a little bit less clients and work on these kind of projects. We're also working on our merch line for people that really want to support us. Working on a separate website, a more of a personal brand website. Because it's crazy. I just found out my website gets 30,000 views a month, which before TikTok it was like 100 viewers a month. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with 30,000 people just looking at my photography website? It's not like 30,000 people are gonna do something with my service. It's probably just like 1% of that. So I said, okay, I need to show these people something. Maybe 30,000 people's percentage of that wants to support me through merch. Maybe they want to learn more. That's why I'm creating a course. And that's it. Or maybe they just want to find some inspiration. So maybe I start a blog or a newsletter. So there's so many ways to so many fun things down the lane for me, and that's really exploring the world as a content creator.
And content creation, David, you're right. It's started, but they're predicting that it's going to grow to hundreds of billions. Like that, it's a massive industry that's growing up. And it's fascinating what's happening there. But just talk to me about the course. So is that course, is the client for that photographers or consumers, or?
Honestly, it's anyone who wants to redefine beauty, redefine the word photogenic, and create a better relationship, rebuild a healthier relationship with photos for themselves, right? Like this isn't to any specific person. It can really be for anyone as long as they want to see them for themselves. I mean, would I recommend this to photographers? Yes and no. No, in the sense that, hey, don't take this course and thinking like this is for your business. This is not like for your clients. At the same time, this is what made me who I am. This is how I can connect with my clients. I've learned about doing that for myself. Like I've been doing this for my clients, but never for myself. I tried doing it for myself, but the purpose was to connect with my client, never the purpose for truly me. So, for me, I had that huge elevation in my business when I truly wanted it for myself, when I truly wanted to say, hey, when's the last time I really saw myself as a beautiful human being? And with that purpose, I went out and said, hey, I owe it to myself to see myself as a beautiful human being. And because of that, now I know what my clients go through. Now I can better empathize, and they can see my journey and they can inspire my journey, right? So to photographers, yes, do it not because you're a photographer, but because you're a beautiful human being. And many times we don't understand that ourselves. And then to rebuild that relationship with photos that you have of yourself and say that you're a remarkable human being and you want to show that to other people. And that's the gift that you have as photographers, right? You can show that to other humans. So the course is really truly for anyone that just has that simple want of finding beauty for themselves and not letting other people define that for you.
So when does the course launch, David?
The course launches, let me see my whiteboard here. November 27th. The course is in post-production right now, and that's the beautiful thing. I'm in a place where I can delegate a little bit more. For once, I can just wear my own hat of being the talent, and I've had that amazing crew of 13 that helped me film and doing post-production. So it's in the post-production phase right now, and like at the end of the month, we're gonna hopefully roll it out.
Very good. And what's the best way for viewers to know when it's launched and that they can avail of it?
You're amazing, Ronan. And Instagram is really gonna be the best way right now. Like I said, my personal website where the course will be hosted is still under works. A lot of things are like being constructed at the same time. But if you follow me on my Instagram, I put out my links to the newsletter. So if you really, really want to closely follow behind and you're interested in doing something like this for yourself, Instagram, and then sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll like get the updates really quick. And there's gonna be a pre-enrollment period as well, where I take just 100 students, and you're gonna get like a good price for that before the actual official launch. So if you're truly excited, definitely follow me along.
Okay, so we would love to for photographers, if there's, and you have mentioned this, would be good for photographers too, once they approach it, that it's not about photography business, it's learning about other things that can help them in their business though. But yes, we'd love to at 3XM, we're happy to send it to our database for you when it's ready, with the link to sign up. So happy to do that. Our database isn't big. Amazing. We've about 15,000 on it, but I'm sure there will be photographers out there who are clients of ours who will benefit from it. So happy to do that.
That's amazing. Thank you, Ronan.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's incredible.
Oh, thank you. So David, let's say I'm in a place as a photographer where I'm struggling a bit, or that I just haven't figured everything out yet, right? To get back to the mindset, what would be your advice?
I guess could you help me think of the scenario just a little bit more? What could they be struggling with?
Sure. So let's say, so I see it in the forums all the time. I've been in business for 4 years. I've tried everything. I've done a whole lot of education, and I'm just struggling to find the clients. To find the clients. Do you think you have to nearly discover that why and purpose why you're a photographer first, or do you think that it's something else? Because it's hard to discover that purpose sometimes, as to what you want to do, what difference you want to make. And it's hard when you talked about it very early on in this interview about the, making sure that you can cover your rent and your food, and, and you need to look after that first. And it's hard to figure out that purpose until you're doing that, but it's hard to do that until you figure out your purpose.
Right. I mean, when it's like it's managing your stress levels, right? Like if you're just trying to make things work month by month, but at the same time, you wish you had the freedom to just explore you and your passion and say, what is my mission statement, and really find that. I mean, I think it's like chicken or the egg, right? For me,
Yes.
the business side came first. And if you follow Sue, she has a very specific way. She has a very specific style in her work. There's a specific way she talks and her mission statement. And as a guy, I mean, for Sue, she also, that's what she taught me first, right? Like she works with the everyday woman. And as a guy, that was really tough for me at first. Learning from her as a student, I wanted to do as many things I can just like her, because I'm learning. I was soaking everything in like a sponge. But the hard thing was like, Sue is this beautiful, older, wise woman who can connect with other women on such a different level. How do I take exactly what she does as a young 27-year-old, at that point 23, someone coming out of college, trying to connect with other 40-year-old women? How do I do that? But like still going against the friction of that, like I still made it work just because Sue is such a great educator. But I had to take myself out of her equation. I had to understand that it was just a blueprint, and I had to find my place into that puzzle. And that's why I said like the course is great if you need a way to grow yourself. It's one of those airplane situations where you help yourself and then you help other people. And for me, like at least my service to my clients, a lot of it has to do with self-love. It isn't about just a beautiful photo. It's a bigger concept. It's them for once saying, damn, I look good. And that's priceless. That's a photo that will hold on to forever. And I need to do that for myself. I need to show myself self-love and grow in that sense, to appreciate it for myself. So whenever I talk to my clients, it's not about selling, because I know that they need it, because I know how much I needed it and how much I valued it, right? So, for people, for photographers out there who are struggling, maybe you've been in business for a little bit, you just can't keep doing the same thing. Maybe it's like what Ronan said. Maybe it's taking a break and saying, hey, maybe I do need to take a bit of time to find the purpose, and the purpose will help me restructure my business, or it'll help me just change my perspective. Or if you don't have the luxury to just like take a little bit of time for yourself, maybe you just need to restructure the business first. And we do that by just like learning from new people, learning in a different way. You just can't keep doing the same thing and saying, it's not working. I think I found this a lot with Facebook ads, when it's still a big thing, but I think it was a much bigger thing in like the Facebook and like marketing. Like people are like, oh, do Facebook ads work for us in local market and things like that. And maybe like 2-3 years ago, I was like really trying to use Facebook ads. And a lot of the topic then was also photographers saying, oh my gosh, I put $100 into Facebook ads. Nothing happened. I hate this. It doesn't work. Right? And it's like you tried it once. And like you had to learn something new, and then implement it. And maybe you'll find one nugget, and then that brings you confidence to do more of that. And then tying it into TikTok and social media as well. That's why you just don't set the goal to be finding 10 clients making one TikTok. You just gotta keep doing it because you love it, and don't see it as marketing because it's gonna be a chore, and you already have so many other chores in your small business. So again, last thing, if you're struggling and you've been trying out photography for a while, you can't find clients, you gotta think back to being humans, right? Like think about why we really need it. We don't need photos. The 13-year-old guy next door, your neighbor's kid has an iPhone that can take a photo for us. Like, what's the difference? You have to connect with humans for our feelings and emotions and what we need. And and a powerful want for a lot of people, you're gonna realize is that, you know, we want to feel beautiful. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
David, so you're an inspiration to us all. Thank you so much. And Mia too. You know, thank you so much for joining us. I could talk for hours and hours and hours with you, David. But I'm conscious of your time as well. And you know, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving us this time.
Thank you, Ronan.
And thank you so much for your business. You know, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, it's been so helpful for my clients and helping them experience their photos in a different way. So thank you. And thank you for having this for other photographers. I'm sure so many photographers find so much value from this and your wisdom too.
Thank you so much, David. Stay safe and healthy. Have a great weekend. And I can't wait till we get to meet in person someday. Take care.
Yes. Thank you, Ronan.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.